Ladies and gentlemen, earthlings and extraterrestrials alike, welcome to It's Happening, the podcast that delves into the unknown and uncovers the truth and keeps you entertained along the way. I'm your host and your trustworthy guide through the mysterious realms of the universe. Today, we have a special treat for you. Buckle up because we've got footage of a close encounter with none other than a gray alien. That's right, folks. Get ready to have your minds blown as we delve into the world of extraterrestrial life. And remember, if you want to stay in the loop and join our quest for knowledge, follow our podcast. Together, we'll explore the mysteries of the universe, one mind-boggling episode at a time. Get ready because it's happening. My name is Jared, and welcome to It's Happening. I've got a good show for you guys today. I've got a few clips I'm going to pull up for y'all, and in hopes, I like doing shows like this because it opens your mind, or I hope to reach people and it may open their mind. So I do hope to get some dialogue back from you guys on what y'all's thoughts are and what's going on with all of this. But first off, don't forget to follow our page, like our videos, comment on it, and help support us tremendously. And if you would, like I said, like our page, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, Rumble, wherever you're at, if it's subscribe, follow. Y'all know how the deal goes. Before we jump into it, I want to show y'all one thing real quick about my wife's business. She has started doing something really good. I'm sorry about that. Something extra with her tumbler making. As most of you know, she does handmade tumblers, and she does them however you like. She's now doing sublimation, so she can do more affordable ones for people also. And I wanted to show you guys some of them. We're setting up a website as we speak to get it going, but she is awesome. Check this out. Let's see if I can. That light's going to try to glare on it a little bit, but let's see. That's one of them. And sublimation ones are 20 ounce as of now, because the other ones have handles and other things. There's probably other reasons that I don't know yet. But hold on, guys. Let me put this mic down so I can show you guys. I need to get me a boomstick because I have an issue of moving around too much. I guess y'all already noticed that. Now, here, let's try this again. We need two hands. That's why God gave us two hands, right? As you can see, she's very, very good, and she can do it however you like. A lot of them are political, obviously, because me and her both do political stuff online. But she will make them however you want. It doesn't have to be political. That's just, we get a lot of political followers from both sides. So yeah, she did extremely well. And I'm sure some of y'all out there are gonna like this one. Check this out. If you can't read that, it says Biden can't take our guns because that's backwards to me. because I hid them upstairs. Oh, good stuff, good stuff. All right, guys, enough of that. But my wife's business page is called Creations by Vandy Street, and I will put the links to all of her pages in the comments below. And you can follow her. You can always message me to get with her as well. So now I'm going to jump right into streaming and pull these videos up. And remember, guys, this one, I want to have fun with it. So comment away. Tell me your thoughts on what you're seeing. tell me your thoughts on the government and how they've not manipulated and hid things from us. Now I realize not everybody in the government, but as a whole. So definitely, let's talk about it. It's a different type of episode I want to try and start doing. All right. The first one is going to be from third phase of the moon. Oh yeah, there's going to be a few of them.
We've muted the audio in portions due to some copyrighted music behind it.
The thing's not going anywhere.
But you're hearing in the background the driver. It's not going anywhere. It's just hovering in the sky. We're going to get a closer look at it just a bit, but I wanted to share with you the raw video right now.
The thing's not moving. What is that? What is that thing?
All right, let's roll this once again. I'm going to enhance this, get a little closer, see if we could identify this object in the sky. And right now, we have no explanation of what we're looking. We've muted the audio in portions.
I'm going to stop that one. Hold on 1 second. It didn't stop playing on mine. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. It didn't stop playing on my end. All right. So, yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, I know that's not really a great clip. It's one of the better clips. And that, the reason I chose that one is because it was from, he posted that one yesterday. Same thing with the other video I'm going to show. Go ahead and pull up the next one. All right, this one's also from third phase of the moon.
Pretty interesting here.
They do exist or they don't exist. They keep telling us they don't exist, but they block every opportunity for us to get a hold of the information to prove that they do exist. And we're going to get to the bottom of it, dadgummit.
I'd love to see whatever facts and information we have, and it's good. I'm very supportive of letting the American public see whatever we have.
It is still going. Just wait.
Pretty interesting here.
They do exist or they don't exist. They keep telling us they don't exist, but they block every opportunity for us to get a hold of the information to prove that they do exist. And we're going to get to the bottom of it, dadgummit.
I'd love to see whatever facts
Sorry, I
and
had somebody
information we have.
comment
It's
and was
good.
asking me a question
I'm
about
very
that.
supportive of letting the
So the reason I played that one first is you'll see because of the next one that I'm going to play. And yeah, sorry about that. We're waiting on a few more equipment pieces that I need that will make this stuff a little bit more easier for me because I am trying to do all of this alone. So it can be stressful sometimes. So please be patient with me, and I appreciate y'all being patient with me. But we will get there soon. All right, this is going to be the last video I show y'all. It's going to be a little bit longer, so we'll kind of stop and talk a little bit about it. This is the one that you've been waiting to see, though. And if Sharon Vander is still on here, you got to tell me what you think of this. All right, and this is from Redacted.
were in the room, people who were there at the time, and verification of that, all of that processing there. The New York Times piece of this, them saying, we believe you, we believe the veracity of this. So you have all of that. Now, let's play the film. So here it is. This is, again, it's silence. There's no audio on this. What are we looking at here as we play this film? What are we seeing on our screen, John?
Contrary to Victor's voiceover, this is a film shot April of 1991, a thought projection interview of a other gray, designated an other gray, an extraterrestrial biological entity. He is a haploid, which means he came with only one sexual chromosome. Human beings are diploids. For any microbiologists out there, if I'm hatcheting those words, I'm sorry. But this being had only one sexual chromosome. He came to the S2 alpha, the official designation of the underground facility that housed the alien interrogation and retention program. That's the unofficial name of what this was. They call these interview suites the ambassador suites because the government did try for the care and did treat these and look at these beings and still do as ambassadors from other planets and other dimensions. And if you hear David Grush talk,
There is one thing I noticed. If you haven't noticed, if you've watched, if some of y'all haven't been obsessed with this like me, you may notice the eyes on this one. They're more round shape, and the way it's much different than the Hollywood versions or the hoax versions that we've been seeing. And there's a couple of other things that you'll see it along the way.
coughing on his words, it's because he doesn't want to tell you that some of these beings are from other dimensions. And so this being was very ill at the time. He had a respiratory issue. Now, Sean David Morton also heard. I can't verify this veracity, that it's some sort of debilitation or disease with its heart-lung sac. It does not have a traditional heart. It's got a heart-lung one sac, which was the need for the special monitor, which goes up and down, does not go across.
So he's saying that light is the monitor that I guess monitors his heartbeat and health. If I'm hearing that wrong, y'all please tell me in the comments.
To monitor this bizarre heart-lung one sac organ that the alien has. And behind the viewing glass were 5 men, 2 telepaths. There is a researcher out there, and I don't doubt it. And because I've seen the outline of the figure, and I didn't catch this, and someone else did, so I'm crediting them. I don't ever want to not credit other people. That Colin Powell was in that interview room. Now I know that sounds crazy.
Did he just say Colin Powell? Let me know. I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
can't verify it, but it certainly looks like the outline of him. It looks like an African American male in his 50s wearing an Army Class A dress uniform. Funny, the Rear Admiral that was on my list was the person that reported intelligence to the Joint Chiefs.
Sorry to stop again so quick, but I wanted to remind you guys that he's in an interrogation room with these soldiers. That's why they're probably not wearing all the hazmat stuff. If people have thought about that or not, an interrogation room. So we have an interrogation room or a whole building set up where we bring beings that aren't from Earth, or maybe are from under Earth, or who knows where they come from, or maybe fallen angels, or whatever. But that's just, it's crazy, ain't it? I mean, you would think that, oh my God, they actually have a room to interrogate them. I wonder if it's almost torturing the entity, I'll say. And I will also say he looks tan, not gray.
Staff. Interesting. But that's how bizarre this film has gotten. And I'm not even going to tell you anything about the telepaths because I don't want it to get into the Da Vinci Code. But even Doty said that the telepathic program, the people they hired, was ridiculous. They were like one step above 1-800 psychics back in the 80s and 90s. But there was 2 men in particular that were very in touch with these beings, and they would sit down with these aliens and these beings and immediately get information and relate it back to whoever, whatever military person was in the room. As you can see on the tape, the being
I don't
eventually
know if that's
starts
my
to
internet or,
medically
if it's on
flag, if I
theirs.
can use the whistleblower Victor's terminology, and he is then attended to by the medical staff. And Victor tells us that the medical staff in S2 and S4, are more chosen for their ability to keep secrets than their medical knowledge. And again, I have been in contact. I have the names of the two doctors that are going to be on either side of this beam. On the bottom, you're going to see DNI/27. That is the Department of Naval Intelligence. According to Richard Doty, there's like a conga line of different agencies waiting to insert their questions to this beam in the 2 hour long.
Are y'all still seeing it? I had somebody just message me and say that y'all weren't seeing it. If not, can somebody tell me real quick? Or I paused it right now, so I want to fix it if it's not. Let's see. I'm gonna unpause it. Let me tell me if y'all are still hearing, please. What is going on? Sorry about that. I'm having some difficulties here.
Long interview. The interviews are conducted about once a month.
What did you start to piece together from people who were in the room? And so when we say hoaxed video, I think you're saying that was what the assumption you had going into this, that this was hoax. That was sort of the media speculation about this. Now you've proven and taken it to the United States Congress, which, by the way, they're about to hold a hearing on this next week. And I think that this is, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be a big piece of this. And other whistleblowers are now confirmed to be coming forward to Congress next week. Civilian whistleblowers who are going to be testifying of the things that they've been a part of and seen. So talk about the people that you started, the witnesses who were in the room with this creature, and how you started to verify the veracity of this film.
It was during COVID, and for the first time of my life, and I don't say this proudly because I'm a type A workaholic, I had time off that wasn't due to vacation or injury back in my wrestling days. And it just, I'm not saying I was visited, I heard voices, but it's just something my conscience said, you got some time now. Go figure out that film. Figure something out. I want everyone to know, Clayton, I did not come at this film. It was a hoax. Was it real? I just wanted to find the truth. And that is my.
I'm sorry, guys, about the mix-up just a second ago. When I did a full screen, it takes me out of it. And somebody was confused and didn't understand that that's what had happened. So I apologize for that. Didn't mean to mess the show up with it. But there were some parts in here that I want to show you. Just wanted to make sure it was still there.
Credibility that I didn't push any theory into my own line of thinking. I simply wanted to know the truth. I had information, the film, but I did not have knowledge, which comes from being actually involved in this or even involved in the military or these programs. But I knew that if I went on like a podcast or something, I could start to metastasize my investigation and put it out into the wind, give it the Oprah effect. Maybe somebody would contact me, which has happened to UFO researchers before, that they could give me some insight on this. And right before Memorial Day of 2021, I went on a Jeff Rentz program. And sure enough, 3 weeks later in June, I started to get an email, or I got an email, received an email from a gentleman. He said, I caught your interview. You got some things right. You got something wrong. Month later goes by. I get the same email and so on and so forth. And he was emailing me on the same day of the first that day of the month. And I know from my dad being on the board of directors of a credit union that's probably somebody who's involved in a board of directors. And I'm not giving my main whistleblower, identity away. I'm just telling you how prominent this man was. And 9 months it took from him vetting me and emailing me once a month and whatnot on my birthday. Coincidentally, now I'm a public figure. You could find out my birthday, but I think it was pretty bizarre that on my birthday he sends me and don't want to mince my words. He sends me a report of the Defense Intelligence Agency who ran the alien interview and retention program. That's what it's unofficially called in the know. And he had someone inside the DIA send the report of the unauthorized viewing of this film, not smuggled out, not stolen. It was called the unauthorized viewing. And Clayton, my hand was shaking in my car. I was at a Oasis in outside of Hammond, Indiana, believe it or not, on a trip, and my hand was shaking because I was seeing names of actual men in
Sorry, I don't know if it's my internet or not, guys. Maybe having a problem with it.
Wikipedia and Googling them
I
and
apologize.
realizing these are real people. And like Linda Moulton Howell told me when she saw the list, you have gold here. Why? No one has ever heard of these people before. And like Linda said, and these people are on Google and are real. And I said, yeah, they are. And she said, son, you got gold here. And so I got the list of names, but I know investigative journalism. That wasn't just enough just to have the names. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. So I started to vet every single person on the list. The first person was retired working for TRW, and TRW. These are the men, by the way, who were behind the glass in the viewing gallery watching this thought projection interview. That's what it's called. It's not telepathy, it's actually called thought projection. And the first one worked for TRW, and I said, "Well, this is a hoax. He wasn't even in the military." David Morton, who was in the office of the production company, who first got the call from Victor saying, "I've got this VHS tape of an alien," said, "No, no, no. TRW is like hand in hand with the government. They do every kind of secret project and whatnot." I said, "Wow." The next name was a rear admiral um, who reported to the Joint Chiefs, was in the Oval Office. I've proven this, and I'll get back to that man. The next one was a captain in naval intelligence. I look him up on Wikipedia.
So tell me in the comments, what do you guys think? I mean, how it moves, what it's doing, the way it's okay. Is it real? Do you believe it's a hoax? Do you believe it's maybe some form of an AI robot that they've created? Y'all let me know your thoughts.
Retired a vice admiral. I said, "Well, this is a hoax." And my one investigator said, "John, he was a captain of a Navy intelligence in 1991. He retired. The list is from 1991 when this thought projection interview was first made, which was April of 1991." He said, "They're giving you a list of the people in that room and their rank at that time." I mean, I was blown away. I'm like, "You're right." And now he was vice admiral. Clayton, I emailed this man, and we emailed each other back 3 or 4 times, and we had such a relationship.
He says that. It looks like he's looking at the light, trying to figure out what's going on. Or he keeps tilting and looking at it. That's wild.
I was going to fly to Virginia to ask him to play golf and go out to dinner. And he said, "Well, before you come out, what is your documentary about?" And I'm like, "Look, I'm a champion of the military. I've had relatives in the military. Along with Senator Mark Kirk, stopped the closure of the North Chicago VA in northern Chicago. I am pro-military." I said, "But look, I'm going to send you a list. I'm going to send you a report that's very disconcerting. Bear with me. Your name's on it." And I sent him the report, the time and date, what type of alien this was, his name there, and he ghosted me. And Clayton, in 2022, when you ghost somebody electronically, doesn't that speak volumes? He didn't call back and say I was crazy, you're nuts, laugh at me. That's not me. That never happened. And I've had military people say, "Look, men and women in the military are honorable. They're not going to lie to you. They just won't talk to you anymore. So they don't lie to you." And that really had me fall off my chair. Like, this guy, we were going to go play golf, and now, I am, I am, I'm alienated from his life. I had Dr. Sala email him too. Never laughed at Dr. Sala. Didn't call Dr. Sala crazy. Just said I'm not interested in doing any interviews about anything with my military career.
Wow.
And the list goes the list goes on, and let me get to the 2 doctors, the 2 medics that you will see, folks, on either side of the alien. The doctor on the alien's right, our left, died in California. I called. Please listen to me, folks. This is such crucial information. I call his second wife, his widow. I'm going to say her name is Kim, but it was a short name. It's kind of hard telling somebody's widow, was your husband involved in alien, autopsy?
Oh no, please don't. Sorry guys, this is spinning for y'all. I don't know if it's my end or their end. It's the first time it's happened to me.
Or alien interrogation or anything to do with aliens, because he was a doctor. And I told her my story very quickly, and she paused. Again, another person that didn't laugh, didn't hang up the phone. She said, John, that's really interesting. She said, For the time that I was married to him,
I mean, doesn't it look like maybe not on purpose, but maybe they're torturing him? Maybe he's uncomfortable, or I mean, my goodness. I know it sounds like they keep saying that they're trying to help him and that they're trying to do that, but I don't know how to feel about that because, I mean, hell, they've been hiding this stuff from us since the 40s. It's hard to believe that maybe it just died naturally or whatever. Who knows?
he never ever spoke about his time in the U.S. Army Medical Corps. I never told her U.S. Army Medical Corps, but that was on the report of what his designation was. And which I thought she is correlating this report. She said all of our friend groups, they're from Vietnam, World War II, Korea. They all have funny stories about boot camp, on assignment other than non-combat related information. They all have funny stories. And my husband never spoke about his time in the U.S. Army Medical Corps, not even to me. And she said, John, your phone call just completely turns the light bulb on and totally makes sense to me now why my husband never spoke about his time in the U.S. Army.
Hmm.
So I'm like, what is going on here? Now I Google the other doctor's name. He's practicing medicine still in Connecticut. And at the time, he worked for the VA in 91, and we see this creature having some sort of respiratory coughing fit. Folks, pay attention to the mouth. It opens and closes instantaneously. Listen to me on this. He he at the time of 1991, this creature's having a respiratory problem. This doctor worked for the VA. What did he do and specialize in 1991? He was a pulmonologist. So obviously they brought this man in to S2 Alpha. That's the official designation of the underground facility where the alien retention interrogation program happens. To study this creature that he's having a respiratory problem. Let's bring in an expert, and who in the VA is a pulmonologist, and so on and so forth. He is not that anymore. He is in a different field of medicine. But I called his office. And Leslie Keene of the New York Times, who I presented this story to, her and Ralph Blumenthal. Leslie was even contemplating making an appointment and going to visit. And once she got him in the room, but that never maturated, and whatever. But and then his office just refused to take my calls because I wanted to be honest. I'm working on a documentary, and he must have had some idea what was going on, or was either contacted by someone at the Pentagon. Look, we got a guy. He's going around. He's asking questions, and you might get a phone call. And I sat on this for like 3 or 4 months, and I didn't know what else to do. I showed Dr. Sala, and then I showed Donald Schmidt, who was J.L. Hynek assistant in Chicago, and he's the first person I showed it to. He's the Roswell expert, and he was flipping the pages in a restaurant in Wisconsin with his mouth open. And he basically said, if you've got this wrong, nothing changes. If you're right about this list, this changes everything. And then I called Richard Doty and I said, Mr. Doty, I finally got a hold of me. Very nice man to me, very personable. Hi, Richard. My name is John Stewart. Do you know anything about the Victor film? Yes, I do. I know some things about it. I'm like, wow. Okay. Deep breath. Was it real? Yes, it was real. I'm like, it real meaning it showed an actual off-planet extraterrestrial alien being. Yes. And I said, okay, do you know who Victor is? He said, no. Uh, but there was a very disgruntled bunch of people down in S2 and in S4, the other facility. And these disgruntled employees, Victor being one of them, help remove the tape. And I will tell everyone here, Victor, who kind of said he removed the tape, didn't. It was simply taken out of the S2 facility by the Air Force cameraman, and 2 copies were made at the Area 51 Groom Lake Photo Lab. And
I will say that is the one part of it that I question, because you don't just some random worker doesn't just simply sneak it out of places like that. They are allowed to sneak it out of places like that. Or maybe, I mean, I guess there's maybe just because I'm always thinking in that mind frame, maybe he did find a way to sneak it out, because things happen in places where there are a lot of security and a lot of cameras all the time. So it could, I don't know. Tell me your thoughts. Do you think just some random worker could have sneaked that video out?
the second copy, the 3-minute film, was smuggled out in a GSA burn bag. That's how it left. Nothing's, there was no kind of like smuggling like a mule over the American border with drugs. And I mean, it was let out almost like an Ocean's 11. And Doty said that it was not filmed in S4. There are no alien housing there. The alien housing is in S2 Alpha. And I'm like, what's S2 Alpha? She sent me a satellite photo of it and said that's what it is. It's called the Alien Retention Program. This being was brought in on a part of Project Pounce. Uh, it's Doty's like, I don't know the provenance of the being, but I think it was from
I wonder if they named it Project Pounce for, I mean, what, pounce on the, that's just so weird.
the Kalahari crash where 2 beings were recovered. And he said, but the entire project has been moved to Dugway Proving Grounds in Utah, where they have now a huge super secret underground facility. S2, S3, S4 are still in kind of
I don't know
a
why.
caretaker status. But the alien program, whether that be the retention, the interrogation, the biological reverse engineering of craft, that all is now taking place at Michael's Airfield at the Dugway Proving Grounds. And I find an email on the internet from 1999 of the project manager. His name was Major Thomas Mack, beloved. It says Richard Doty was our counterintelligence agent for Project Majestic, and that was the name of this project. Here's the bombshell: the name of the project for this whole thing since 1947 was the Majestic program. And the program to interview the beings in S2 was called Project Aquarius, which was basically all things about aliens in contact with human beings. And that is from the email, and that is also from Richard Doty's mouth, who is verified as the counterintelligence agent, who is
So that's got to be like the 8th time now that I've heard either a whistleblower or somebody close to the situation mention being in contact with the beings. And a part of me wants to say that's just absolute BS. And then another part of me thinks, well, it would kind of make sense, actually. Now, I don't know why if the beings did want to come down here. The only reason they would want contact with us or need to have contact with us is because they don't want us to start a war. So I'm phrasing that wrong. Wouldn't you think that if alien race was coming from another planet and they had all the technology that they have and they saw our planet that they can literally destroy it in a matter of minutes and then just take it over. I mean, that's what I mean. It doesn't make sense on the fact that it's I don't know the term for it, but I do believe they have been in contact with them. I absolutely believe it because of how long this has been going on, and I think that the beings themselves are the ones forcing a lot of our intelligent agencies to do the things that they are doing. Now, I could be wrong on that, but tell me your thoughts on it.
So in his 70s and wants to tell the story, the truth of what's going on and what the government is covering up.
I wanted to ask you about the New York Times piece of this. So you brought this to the New York Times, you brought this to Leslie Kean, you brought this to Ralph Blumenthal, who, of course, write for the New York Times and publish reports in the New York Times. Famously, their big bombshell report a number of years ago about the USS Nimitz. And you brought this to them. What happened when you brought this to the New York Times?
For asking me that because I was kind of sworn to secrecy by them until the stories came out, and they are out. And I contacted Ralph Blumenthal. I said, I have to do this in person. I have to show you my investigation. And I flew to Midtown Manhattan. We met at the Hilton in Midtown August of last year, and we sat there for 5-6 hours. I debriefed them basically. They were kind of astonished that I was old school journalism, getting out of my car, knocking on doors, putting notes on people's cars, and uh, we had lunch, and they said, "Look, we totally believe you. Your investigation is thorough, it's vetted, it's sourced, but there's no way the New York Times is going to run this story. I mean, you've got a film and a photo of an actual extraterrestrial." And Ralph and Leslie both said, if we could get, or you could get a credentialed inside military intelligence official to come forward, which I'm like, that's never going to happen. To my shock, it did. We could possibly take this to the New York Times and run this story. If you had somebody come forward saying that film's real and the whole alien retention interview program is real. David Grush, the story breaks on News Nation. I mean, my family, my wife they're like, "John, you're going to be in the New York Times. This is what Leslie and Ralph have been telling you. This is what you needed. You have it now." And I don't know what's going on.
But you've heard nothing from
it's
them.
And the comment that Jeremy put up there, the guy's full of it in his humble opinion, and he absolutely may be. Again, I am showing this because they won't tell us the truth, and we need to find out for ourselves. And in doing these things, that's why I like to show this stuff, because I can't tell you yes for a fact that is real and this guy's not lying. But from my opinion and the things that I have been seeing and reading and how I've watched how they have manipulated everything and manipulated people on all sides of it, I kind of believe him. Maybe not the whole story. I believe the video is real, and I believe that there's more going on to it. That's my point. That's what I was getting at.
And to be clear, they're not staff writers of the New York Times. They are,
No.
yeah. So this isn't specifically the New York Times.
Leslie,
Yeah.
yeah, and I asked her. I said, "Well, does this move my story now to the forefront? We have what you said I needed." And I'll talk to Ralph, and Ralph, I'll talk to Leslie. I'm not throwing them under the bus. They're lovely people. I like them. I mean, Ralph, in 5 hours, Ralph Blumenthal became like my de facto uncle. That's what a genuine soul he is. And I love Leslie, and we email each other, and I just, for the life of me, don't know what's going on. I have checked every single box, and everyone told me, Clayton, 20 years ago, government, Hollywood, ufologist. If you prove who Victor is, you prove the video. And the director and the CEO of this production company said this guy called us out of the blue. He was a government employee. He was retired. He didn't even drive at the time, and produced this VHS tape. I've checked all the boxes. I've got the names. I've got the provenance of it. It's in Stephen Greer's 1 terabyte file that he's also submitted to Congress. So it was submitted twice. I think I'm number 240 on the list where it says UFO researchers, information. I don't know what else to do anymore except, continue to try and break through. Flying to Washington to hand my investigation to Congressman Burchett, who's
All right, guys, I think that's a good stopping point on this one. Y'all should definitely go finish the rest of it. The reason it's a stopping point is because of my time, not because of his time. Let me stop. And again, no matter where you stand on the issue, what's going on, at this point, none of us, people like you and me who are seeking for the truth, can really say yes or no or whatever. But we talk with each other so that we can learn and maybe learn something else, or maybe learn that what we thought we knew was completely wrong. That's why I enjoy doing shows like this, so that we can dialogue back and forth on it, because the government's not going to come out and tell us everything. They're just going to keep giving little pieces at a time, and we got to kind of fill in the gaps on the rest of it. And that's why I love this stuff like this. But definitely go back and watch. Go back and watch the full episode of that. I'm working on doing things in a little different way. Hopefully soon y'all will notice, and it should be a lot better than what I've been doing it and how I've been doing it. But again, guys, don't forget to go follow my wife and support my wife on TikTok. That's where she gets most of her support, is TikTok. She's grown massively there, but she's also on all the other social medias. Like I said, I will leave the link in the comments to her page, and I really like this design of this one. Like I said, these are the sublimation ones, so we can get them out faster. You get them for better prices. We're going to have on the web, we're building a website where we'll have some of them ready to go already. And I think there's going to be a spot where you guys can also say you want to make a personal order, and we'll contact. Obviously, those will take a little bit longer, and those will be the higher prices. But a lot of people love those. And she, if y'all can, go follow her TikTok, because that's the one if you have a TikTok, that's the one she needs the most support on right now. But she is also on Facebook. Thank you guys so much for coming and watching my episode. We truly appreciate it. And again, if you would hit the like button, comment below, tag your friends, share the episode, and definitely go follow our Rumble page. It would help support us tremendously. And from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. We will also be doing on my Facebook It's Happening page soon a giveaway for one of these. So be paying attention, because there's only going to be a certain way you can get entered for the giveaway, and you will be able to choose which one you want. It will be a sublimation one, though, which is nothing wrong with that. They're all just as good. Anyways, again, thank you so much for watching and being patient with us while we're still growing here. And don't forget to ask questions and to remember that it is happening. You guys have a wonderful week.